gentlemen, and welcome back to the Botcast. We are finally back after a week off where we were sick as dogs. I'm your host, the Frankster. This is my co-host, my good buddy,
the Arrow. You can't make me laugh like that.
He's still a little bit under the weather, but we're getting there. That's the Arrow, DJ Hart, if you couldn't make out what he said. And we got another episode of awesome Transformers Earth Wars and Transformers in general, your favorite show, the Botcast. So let's go ahead and get into it and talk about the last couple weeks in the game. And how were the last couple weeks to you, DJ?
All right, so the most recent weekend event was Unchained Melody. That was an individual totalizer, 25 prestiges, 1,450 points per prestige. I do not like that. The rewards were all worth grinding for, so I'm not complaining about the rewards or anything like that. If they want prestiges, I don't mind. But 1,450 points per prestige, that's too much. I mean, 1,000 points per prestige, you feel like you're getting somewhere. The points match the prestiges that you're at, whereas the 1,450 you just don't feel like you're getting anywhere. I don't like it. I don't like that at all. I don't like that. But I did have a good event. I got plenty of shards, plenty of spark, 2 new 5-stars in the way of Pterodexodon as a 5-star combat bot. Yippee for me. And then Red Alert, which was not so great. Still trying to get... I was time to feed my dog. Still trying to get that Skylinks and pipes. They elude me yet again. So we'll have to wait another 6 months. And then the
you one-upped me on number of 5-star bots, that's for sure.
Yeah. I was just like, in your face.
You mentioned the video. How dare you?
And then
it's like it wasn't enough that you got more. You had to bring it up.
Well, wouldn't you?
Probably. Usually I film my Crystal Krakens first, though, so I don't really get the chance a lot.
Well, that's why I let you film yours first. And then the weekend event before that was an Alliance Totalizer. I think it was 500,000 points to complete it. I think. Am I wrong in that? I can't quite remember.
I can't remember exactly what the points total was, but it sounds about right. Because you joined my alliance near the end, I think, and helped. If it's the one I'm thinking of.
2 weeks ago?
It may have been further back then.
Yeah, because we had the Unchained Melody was this past weekend. Before
that was the
sure
individual
was Alliance
one.
Totalizer.
There was the Alliance one the week before that.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it would have been like 500,000. Wait a minute. Was it the Titans event?
It may have been.
For the 4-star
All
Titan
I remember
part?
about it is that I didn't get anything in my Crystal Kraken. I do remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was either.
I think it was. I think it was for the final Titan piece.
For the so it was for 4-star Tripticon and Metroplex.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Okay, yeah. So yeah,
that
I
would
think
have
it
been
was
way
too.
higher than. Yeah.
Yeah. So that being the case, I can't remember what all I got as far as like bots and chips and stuff that event, but I was in Cybercore Titans leading up to that event, and we did complete it, and we got the 4-star Metroplex. So I now have 4-star Metroplex, and I'm beam lasering the crap out of stuff. It's made grinding for Titan Spark a lot easier, because now I can get past that 3-star Tripticon. I was not expecting to be a part of that. I was invited to be. I guess they didn't have as much participation as they were hoping. So I was invited to come on board. You know, they asked, what can you score? And I was like, 30,000 is my record. So they're like, all right, come on in. I was like, okay, cool. And I did 30,100 points. Or 31,100 points, I think, is what I scored that event. So... But,
nice.
Yeah, overall, not bad. Not bad events at all. How were the events for your side of things?
Well, you can tell I already blocked out the memory of the 4-star Titan event because not only did we get nowhere near it, which I never thought we would, but my Crystal Kraken was awful. I felt terrible that people had to watch you get absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't think I got anything either, though.
I was I was coughing my head off, and I got nothing. I was like, "This is terrible." I think I even apologized in the video. I'm like, "I'm sorry, this is terrible." Crystal cracking. It's how it goes sometimes. I felt terrible that weekend, and I did get my 22,000 points in, but we didn't get much. This past weekend, Unchained Melody, that event was pretty good to me. I finally got a 5-star combat bot, and it was Flack.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was so excited. He was the main one I wanted. He's my favorite combat bot, so that was awesome to be first one right off the bat. And I got a 3-star Air Razor, which got me super excited because Air Razor's a pretty good bot.
Yeah, I like Air Razor. She is really annoying as an outpost bot. Just FYI.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there's no way to counter that. Unless you have, unless you're using like Elita 1 or something, there is no way to counter Air Razor in outposts. If she's on a bot that's in the outpost, there's no getting rid of her. So if you use like all of them, like put an Air Razor on each bot that's in your outpost, like the 2 through the 5-star, that would be annoying as all get out.
Yeah. I have to look into that. I think I was signed to somebody. I'm trying to remember because I was so excited about Flack. I think I completely forgot about Air Razor for a minute there. I was like, because I put Flack on Swoop and then took 4-star Flack and moved him on to 4-star Tigerhawk.
Yeah.
So that way both of them are loaded down now.
There you go.
So, yeah, but that event was really good to me. I was really happy. It was a nice rebound from the awful crystal cracking from the week before. So, yeah, that's how the past 2 weeks went for me.
Cool. Yeah, and then, ladies and gentlemen, let us know how your events went in the comments below.
Yeah, we'd like to hear. Hopefully, y'all got some cool stuff. I mean, we both got 5 stars of different varieties. He got both kind of varieties. I got one.
Yeah, some of us got 2 5 stars.
Yeah, well, some of us, that they scored a lot more points than others of us. Because you have stronger bots. I'm gaining, though. Yeah. You're getting like 30,000. I can hit 25 on a good week. So I'm slowly catching up, dude.
To be fair, it is so exhausting to get 30,000 points. Because by the time the weekend's over, you're just like, oh my God, I don't want to do that again for a month. It's so hard.
If I grinded, like set an alarm and woke up every few hours at night, I could probably get 27, 28, if not 29.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that.
See, the trick is having enough squads that can grind out high enough tiers. So, like, all of my squads, I only have 2 squads that can do Zone 13 consistently without the help of a combiner. All my other squads really need to stay in Zone 12 if they don't have a combiner. With a combiner, those first 2 squads can do Zone 14, and then the rest of them have to stay in Zone 13. So what I have to do is I have to like log in every hour and use those 2 squads to do Zone 13, and not let my fuel cells get to a certain point until I get another combiner. And the combiner has to be significant. I mean, it has to be my level 20 Superion or my Omega Supreme, because my other combiners, they're all like level 5 and below. They're useless. Yeah. So they're no help. So that's the only way I can do it. So right now, what I'm working on is I'm trying to get all my squads leveled up to the point where they can consistently do Zone 13 on their own, get to Zone 14 with the help of a combiner, and get all my other combiners leveled up so I can do it more often. And that's how I'll start getting into like 35 and 40,000 points. It's a grind. Yeah.
I take a conservative approach when it comes to events too. Like if they're not like X amount of above the recommended for the zone, I'll do the zone under.
Right.
Right now, all my teams are technically strong enough for zone 12, like all 10 of my main teams. But a lot of them are just barely over that. And like I said, my combiners, with the exception of Magnaboss, who I still haven't really used because I'm continually trying to get it all the way to 20.
Yeah.
They're only level 10 3-stars, and they're not very useful. So if a team isn't significantly, there isn't a gap between the recommended bot power and where they're at, I just do zone 11.
Yes.
So most of my teams are on zone 11. My A team, it can do zone 13, but I usually use them in zone 12 because they're just barely at the zone 13 level. And I would rather score a few less points than lose the battle and get no points,
right?
Because I bit off more than I can chew.
Right,
so
and because that happens sometimes.
I try to be conservative. So I'm zone 11 with most teams and zone 12 with a couple. My goal is to get at least 4 teams zone 12. That way, just set it for set a timer for every, I'd usually do 2 hours. Now, if I did that then and have enough teams to every fuel cell is zone 12,
right?
What I score will be multiplied even higher, and I'll get more. So working towards that.
Yeah, there you go. I have 11 squads that I use for grinding. Only my Autobot squads can do zone 13 because they can use the combiner. 3 of my squads are Decepticon, can't use the combiner, so they're all stuck at zone 12. So I try not to let my fuel cells get to a certain point so I can avoid using them. They're only there in case I need them.
Yeah. Once Magnaboss gets to level 20, though, every morning when I wake up in an event, he's getting activated.
Yeah.
And I'm going ham. And that's when you're going to see my points total go, through the roof.
Yeah, because he'll be the first. Because that's the first. That's what I do. First thing I do when I wake up on the morning of an event, Omega Supreme, A Squad, and then I just go through it. And one matter of fact, my 5-star Omega can solo zone 13. So once I get the first 2 squads done that are in zone 14, I don't even bother using the other squads. I'll go to the next squad, but then I'll just throw Omega out there by himself and just keep doing that over and over again. 9 times out of 10, he can do it. And if he can't quite do it, I might just send out one bot that can rush to the HQ, and that'll finish it off. So
yeah. And then just the rest of the day, all you got to do is make sure it's just enough fuel cells for your top teams.
Yep. That's what I try to do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Well, I do believe it is time to move on to the news. So that's your department. So I will let you do what it is you do.
Well, I thank you for letting me do what it is I do. And what I do is the news. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is the news. And our upcoming weekend event is called Robots in Disguise. That has a double meaning that we'll explain in a minute. So this will be an Alliance Totalizer, 500,000 points to complete it. Super XP, as has been the normal. 30 Combiner Crystals. So you're going to have 30 chances at a 2, 3, or 4-star Combiner bot. So a Dinobot, a Torchbearer, a Defense, a Protectobot, something of that nature will be in that crystal, and to give you a chance to maybe complete that combiner that you've been working on. Also on the line will be a G-Metal Power Core chip, 6 Gold Power Core chips, 150,000 Combiner Spark, 200,000 Spark, 1,500 4-star shards, 4,000 3-star shards, and 20,000 Premium shards. So every single prize in that event will be worth grinding for, if for no other reason to give you more resources. Here is how the rewards will be laid out according to your points. And then the new bots have been announced. So that we've got from the universe of Shattered Glass, and that's where the Robots in Disguise double meaning comes in. Both of these bots are from the Shattered Glass universe. We have Goldbug, who is the evil equivalent to Bumblebee / Goldfire. And then we have Mirror Universe Shockwave. And you see Shockwave has a blue and gold color scheme. So in that universe, the Autobots are actual evil Imperial conquerors, and the Decepticons are the heroic, saviors of the universe. So the Autobots will be getting Shockwave this go-around, and the Decepticons will be getting Goldbug. We do not have any news of what their abilities will be. We were supposed to have a live stream today, but it got pushed back to next week. So we will learn what the abilities of these bots are next week. Alrighty, so, and then we have some updated game information. So the survey went out that we were talking about a couple weeks ago, and there were 5 winners who were given 500 5-star shards, and that's the winners right there. And then also they listed off a few more alliances that completed the event for the 4-star Titan, and on that list was Cybercore Titans. You look right here, you can see that Cybercore Titans. I was a part of that. All right, and then down here, content creators. We have how to prepare for big events video from Sunstreaker Waza is being showcased. Watch that video. It'll show you the best way to prepare for major events like leaderboard events or 1 million, 2 million point events when there's a massive prize on the line. It's very, very helpful. And then the community quarter, we have some artwork. And right here, we have, I forget his name, but that is one of the Decepticons from Transformers Armada. Frankie, do you remember the Decepticons from Armada, the initial ones? You had Megatron, Cyclonus was the helicopter, Starscream. Who was like the battle vehicle that was, not Megatron, but another one?
Oh,
he had like...
I know the one you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
He had the one big eye and the one smaller eye, and he was always freaking out. Cyclonus was the helicopter. This one, Demolisher, is that his name?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I think that's his name, too.
That sounds right.
Right, so this is a picture of Demolisher, hand-drawn by one of the fans. Awesome. Here's a very, very good-looking image of Jazz. Somebody did a good job of that. Picture of somebody's latest addition to their collection. It's Starscream. Awesome sauce. Alrighty.
My favorite Decepticon.
Yeah, I don't blame you, especially after Armada. All right, and then the Saga schedule. We are currently in week 5, going into this event. The following event, next weekend, will be an Alliance Totalizer with Prestiges, and that's when we will get the new bot. So, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the news. All right.
I'm excited to get Shockwave on the Autobots.
I am too. I really can't wait to see what their abilities are going to be. And if you saw too, Shockwave, according to the artist renderings, Shockwave will actually be able to transform into his alt mode, which I don't think he can do on the Decepticon side yet. They did it for Soundwave, but I don't think Shockwave transforms, because he's supposed to be like the alien ray gun. And they're actually showing that as his alt mode in the renderings in the email. So I'm actually happy about that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. They should have a similar ability, so that's going to be interesting what ability those two could have that would be...
Yeah, a car versus like alien ray gun.
Yeah,
it'll probably... I would think it would be some kind of ranged ability, because if you look at Goldbug, he had like some sort of an artillery attached to his vehicle form. So so with him having that, and then Shockwave being like an alien ray gun, I would think that it's going to be some sort of long-ranged attack. But that's just my speculating.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always down for that. I mean, that's my thing. Like aerial bots, strike from a distance. You know, stay out of harm's way. Yeah, that's my.
I'm excited to get Shockwave. I hope I can pull off a 4-star.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
All right, well, I believe it is time for the mailbag segment. So once again, I got to hand the show off to you, sir.
Alrighty, yeah, because we didn't do a mailbag segment last time around, so we've got 2 of them to get caught up with.
In my defense, I was sick, so.
For the podcast, episode 9, we have comments from Bossman6774 and Willem Edward Hackman. Bossman says, looking forward to the changes coming to your channels. Any predictions for what's coming in the game 2022? I predict more 5-star combiners. I predict our next 5-star combiner will be Volcanicus. After that, I think will be Defensor. And after Defensor, it's kind of, I haven't quite thought that far ahead. But that's my prediction. My prediction is our next 5-star combiner will be Volcanicus, and then after him will be Defensor. That's the best prediction that I can give you for 2022. Frankie, what do you think?
I'm thinking along the same lines. I think it's more likely than not the next big addition will probably be 5-star combiners.
Yeah, because I actually went through and made some notes.
Yeah, I do think we're gonna get more like with the bots that we get this year. I think they're gonna be like these, like how they're like the shattered mirror universe.
Yeah, because that's part of what they're doing to launch this new battle pass that they were talking about in the last live stream.
Yeah.
So
I think we're gonna get more unique, like random, far off in the Transformers universe in the small corners we rarely hear from.
right.
I think a lot of the bots we get this year are gonna be like that.
Oh yeah.
And if so, that's really cool. Like it's off to a good start with the two we're getting, and I kind of hope it continues.
I would love, and I'm not predicting this because I don't think it'll actually happen, but I would love to see bots from Challenge of the GOBOTS show up in the game. You know, like
Yeah,
leader 1 and Psykill.
I don't think that would happen. Who even owns the rights to GoBots?
Hasbro.
Really?
Yeah, Transformers and GoBots have been under the same roof for years. It's just they've never done anything with it. I mean, not of significance.
I don't follow GoBots. I mean, I know it was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. I had a VHS of it as a kid, but
it was.
I mean, other than that one VHS, I had like no exposure to GoBots.
There is a fantastic video you can watch to get caught up on the GoBots and their current status up to that point. It's from Chris McFeely on YouTube. He does a fantastic show, Transformers: The Basics, and he did a show all about the GoBots. I will put a link to that video in the description below. Check it out, guys.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
It's fantastic. And the next comment comes from Weird Edward Hackman. Aerial bots. There's a lot of aerial bots in the game, and they all have different abilities, so I don't know which one is better or worse. Well, we have since done a video about which ones we think are better and worse, so if you're not sure, there you go. Alrighty, and then for the Botcast, episode 10, we have 3 comments from Bossman6774, Laser83, I believe this is his first time commenting with us, and once again from Weird Edward Hackman. Bossman says, congratulations on becoming content creators, well deserved. Bossman, thank you very, very much, we appreciate it. Laser83 says, can't wait for more videos, guys. Keep them coming. We certainly will, barring any unforeseen COVID. And then William Edward Hackman says, that's great. Oh, I hate when I get stuck on a sentence because I'm looking at it funny. That's great. Anyway, I did saw it on the newsletter before watching this, that both are content creators now. All right, I understand what he said, so thank you very much. I think some of that sentence got butchered a little bit, probably just a lot of typos. Nobody's fault. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the mailbag segment.
Alrighty, now on to the main topic, which we didn't even introduce that last week. That's how off our game we were. Not last week before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our our topic for this week is we're going to talk about the weekend event formats and what we think about each of them.
Yes, that was my idea. But you said something when we were talking prior to recording.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting here like, oh, what do we talk about? What do we do? Have we done this? Have we done that? And then you said something about weekend events or the totalizer, or maybe no, we were talking about this past weekend event. Whereas the 1450, and we didn't like it. I think is what we were talking about.
Yes.
Anyway, and then all of a sudden the light bulb went off, and I was just like, "That's our topic," and you're like, "It is," and I'm like, "Yes, weekend event formats."
It makes sense, especially with your grievances on the past weekend event, and really mine too. Excuse me. So it does make sense. So we're just going to break down each type of event and just give our opinions on it. Maybe we have some ideas to improve it. Maybe we just have some things that we don't think work. But we're just going to run that down. So
fussing about it.
We're going to start with the individual totalizer. There are 2 different ones of these. There's with the prestigious tier and there's without. So, DJ, I'll let you go first. What are your thoughts on the individual totalizer events?
All right, so I like individual events because, in theory, they're supposed to be nice, laid back, relaxed events where after your alliance has just been grinding to get like this massive reward, and that event's over, the grind is over, so the next weekend you can just take a break, you know? They can be 10,000 points, or they can be like 30 prestiges with like 10 points apiece, something like that. They're supposed to be laid back, relaxed events where the rewards are worth grinding for, but there's not a huge like, oh my god, I gotta get this kind of prize on the line where like you can't relax. And they do it in several different ways. Like you said, they do alliance totalizers, not alliance totalizers. They for individuals. They do totalizers. They do totalizers with prestiges. And then sometimes those prestiges will be like a set number of points per prestige, like 10 points apiece. My favorite ones are the 10,000 point individual totalizers, no prestiges. Because it's laid back, relaxed. I can either knock all of it out in one day and take the rest of the weekend off, or I can just log in here and there, score a couple of battles, and by the time the weekend's over, I'll have finished it anyway. I like those. Those are my favorite ones. I like prestiged ones, especially like 1,000 points per prestige, 20, maybe 30,000, points, 20 or 30 prestiges. That's fine if you're really in the mood to grind it out again. If the rewards are worth grinding for, why not? And then the prestige with 10 points apiece. Same kind of deal. That doesn't bother me at all. Here's what I do not like. I do not like events like we just had, where it's 25 prestiges, 1450 points per prestige. That makes no sense to me. Why would you do that? Because you'll have 10,000 points scored, but then you won't even be at prestige 10. You're at like prestige 8 or something like that. You don't feel like you're getting anywhere. And it's kind of disheartening. So it's like, oh God, why am I even doing this to myself? So I do not like that. If you're going to do prestiged individual totalizers, 1,000 points per prestige, don't make it more than 15 or 20 prestiges. Just don't, Make the individual totalizers easier for us, especially coming off of an event like, we had where everybody's after the 4-star Titan. Because good Lord, what a grind. Now, they've gotten away from doing this, and I'm glad we haven't seen it, but I don't mind prestiged totalizers where it's like 10 points per prestige or 10 points per battle. I don't mind that. What I do mind is when it's laid out in such a way to where there is absolutely no mathematical way you can actually complete that event without purchasing a bundle for fuel cells and cyber coins. If you don't do that, there's no way you can complete the event. They've done that twice that I'm aware of. Was not a fan of it. I called them out immediately in my Crystal Kraken video, like after the first one. Even with my calculator on the screen and everything. I'll put a link to that video in the description below. I don't care for that. Make it possible to complete the event without purchasing fuel cells or bundles. Save those fuel cells and bundles and things of that nature for the big grindy events, like your alliance totalizers that are like 1 million, 2 million points, or the leaderboard events. Don't make us do that for individual events. Don't. It's not fair, especially for those of us who prefer to be free to play. I'm not 100% free to play. I will buy a bundle from time to time, especially if there's this one bot that I'm like, I want this bot, but I don't want to make a habit of buying fuel cells every event. I just don't. It's like I got bills, So, now that's how I feel about individual events. On every format that I can think of that they've done it so far. Where do you stand?
I like individual events. I'm kind of with you with some of it. Like I prefer them to be a more like change of pace kind of event where it's a little more relaxed.
Yeah.
I don't mind there being like the bigger ones. I wish they would like the prestige ones. I wish they would cap it off at like 25,000 to complete the high, the biggest ones they do. because even at 25,000, you still have to be playing the game for a couple years to be able to hit that. I mean, I'm 2-3 years in, and I can only do it if I push myself. So it's like, I feel like that's a pretty good cap. It's still, you have to be a really good player, been doing it long enough at least to get there, but it isn't like overwhelming like a 30, 35 prestige, when you're still 2-3 years in the game and can't get there without, fuel cells or something.
Right.
So I feel like 25,000 would be a good cap. I'm like you, the 10,000 ones I love because you can complete it, be done, and not have to think about it the rest of your weekend. It's almost like a weekend off of the game, really.
Yeah.
And those are pretty fun, I think. And lesser players can complete them, and that's always a good thing because that means they're going to grow that week at the same rate as everybody else.
Yeah.
So for a week, they get to catch up.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I do love the every battle zone is 10 battle points events. I love those.
Yeah, because then you can either power level bots without worry of losing out on points, or you can just wipe out like zone 1 over and over and over again, just for the sake of getting through the event real quick.
Yeah, which is usually I use them for that a lot because I'm just like, I got basically a week off the game, just low battle zone, fast forward, done.
Yeah.
So those are good. Plus, those are more, especially, which I know we're going to get to Alliance ones in a minute, but those are really good for Alliance ones because it really gives you a chance to see who's actually putting in the effort. Because it's not, my bots are weak. It's, no, are you putting any effort in?
Right, right.
So you really find out who in your alliance is committed to at least trying.
Yeah, if it's an alliance-based event where it's like 10, because once in a blue moon they will do the 10 points per battle zone in alliance events. It's more common in individual events, but I have seen where they've done it like 10 points in alliance events like once or twice that I could remember.
Yeah, I remember several of them. They were fairly common when I first did my YouTube channel. When I first started, there were several of them that summer, and I really liked them then because I was a lower tier player, but I was outscoring everybody just because I was putting in the extra time to get, the 10 a battle, and I was up at the top of the leaderboard, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, but individual events, they're on the right track with them, I think. I just wish they would lower the battle point cap on some of the higher ones just a little, just 25,000. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, that should be like the absolute most because even the players who are capable of going beyond that, we don't want to,
Yeah.
It's tiring. It's tiring.
Yeah. I think that's a good number. I don't know why, but in my mind, I'm like 25,000. That should be the cap for the bigger ones.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into the Alliance events, which there's the totalizers with or without prestige, and what are your thoughts on those?
Well, I mean, they kind of have the same format as the individual ones, except for now it's your entire alliance that's going for it. Most of these events, a small one is considered to it's like 500,000 points is considered to be a small one. I have seen it where they were slightly smaller in the past, but recently I think 500,000 is kind of where they're aiming at for the minimum alliance totalizers. And I like that because at 500,000 points, an alliance of 40 guys or girls, you only need to score 12,500 points per player. That's doable. That's not difficult at all for most alliances. And even if it is difficult, like for the alliances who do complete it, it gives them the opportunity to go into other alliances, and merc and help other people complete events, So it's like I like those. And then when they do it prestiged, I a lot of the times they do it prestiged. It used to be when they first started doing it, like the earliest ones I remember, they were like 60 prestiges, right? And that was difficult for my alliance at the time. I was not in Cybercore family of alliances at that time. I think you and I were both in an alliance called Metal Gear Solid. I hope those guys are still around, by the way. I hope they're doing really well. We both left to join the Cybercore family of alliances because we were really wanting to get into an alliance that was scoring above and beyond, and we found it, I think. But like, it used to be 60 prestigious, and then they bumped it up, I think, to like 80. And then I think it was sometime after that they bumped it up to 100. So at that point it became like 1,000,000 points with 100 prestigious. And that's kind of a tall order for a lot of alliances, 1,000,000 points. I mean, that does call for 25,000 points per player with an alliance of 40 players. And you do have some players that will score above that. You got players that'll do like 30, 40,000 points. But then you'll have other players that don't quite get to 25. They're still in the teens. So I don't dislike those events. It's difficult for me to say that they're not fair because I kind of believe that they are fair.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think it's fair for me to ask other players, well, hey, you're not scoring enough points, when the alliance minimum only requires like 12, 15,000, you know?
Yeah.
You can't expect them to score in a 1,000,000-point event when they're only doing roughly half of what you need them to do minimum for an event like that. So
yeah,
that's where I would leave that alone personally and just hope that the alliance continues to grow.
Yeah, and kind of count on the higher players to go over to make up the difference if possible.
Right, because every alliance has higher players that score above the minimum because they can and they're capable and they're going to pick up the slack. And they're usually the ones leading the alliance anyway. It's usually the commander and the officers and then a couple of other heavy hitters that stick around because they're happy where they're at, you know? So
Yeah, I'm the heavy hitter in mine, but I can't really move up because my base, the defenses aren't leveled up enough to meet the requirements of the higher ones in Cybercore. So
yeah, because they're still.
And I'm trying to get on my 4 stars. I'm trying to put all my resources into my bots so I can score more and more on the events. Once I get all my 4 stars caught up, then I want to start funneling it into my defenses so I can move on up.
Yeah, and that's where that does frustrate me because events are more valuable than wars will ever be. All you have to do is look at the rewards. Events is where it's at.
Yeah.
War is nice, but events is where it's at. And that's where you need to be building your alliance, is based around events. How many points can this guy score? Oh, you can do 25,000 points? Our alliance minimum requirement is like 15,000? Come on in. You know?
Yeah.
We need somebody that'll score these points for these freaking 1,000,000-point events. That's where the priority should be in every single alliance that exists. Just based on the rewards alone. When's the last time you got a 4-star Titan from a war? You know?
Yeah.
Now, granted, that's an extreme example, okay?
Or they can at least have the people just move up for each alliance event if they can score the points and send them back down during the week for war if they want to.
I suppose, but then that would just be a pain in the butt. I just assume have you stick around for the long haul, you know?
Yeah.
That's me.
I know.
So
see, once I can, right now I'm consistently at 23,000 an event and can go over if I put in, less sleep, more game.
Right.
Once I get to where I'm consistently hitting 25, once I get my bots to that, that's when I'm really going to hunker down and get the defenses caught up.
Yeah.
That's where I'm trying to get to. Because once I'm safely every week 25,000, then I'm going to get all my defenses up so I can move on up. And once I get there, hitting 25K will be nothing.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Yep.
But yeah.
I agree with you with alliance totalizers in general. I mean, I'm pretty okay with most of the alliance ones because they're basically, if everybody pulls their weight, you're going to get what you're going to get. And like you said, you're always going to have players that ain't going to get like 25K to do the million, but you can still get a lot of good prizes.
Yeah. And I mean, and those players that can't always score really high, it's not like they're not trying. A lot of them really are. Some of them have real life issues that crop up. A lot of them, their bots aren't that tough, so they're doing the best they can. I remember when I was first getting into alliance events. I mean, I was only getting like 8,000 points per event. And I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. So, I was saying, if you're hitting the minimum consistently, I mean, I have no problem with that. It's like, because the minimum should be the bar.
Yeah.
You can go over, that's awesome. That's great. But if you can hit the minimum, like, I have no problem with that. If everybody hit the minimum, you'd hit your goal every week. Because you usually set the goal by, well, if we all hit minimum, where are we going to be? That's where I always look at the goal at. It's like, well, if we all hit minimum, where are we going to be at?
Yeah.
And I know, like, several players will hit over. So, theoretically, as long as people don't have real-life issues, you should get over your goal. So.
Yeah. So those events, those four, I don't have a problem with those formats. I think they're fine. It just becomes all about your alliance and what your alliance is willing to do to help you out and what you can do to help out your alliance,
Yeah.
Ask not what your alliance can do for you, but what you can do for your alliance.
Oh, God. Okay, well, there we go with that historical reference. Oh, God. All right, so on to the rare, at least since I've been doing my YouTube channel, I know it's been rare, the raid events.
Right.
Where you use fuel cells to gain the raid fuel cells to then raid. So I'll let you go. You look like you got something to say.
Not really. I mean, I don't hate those. I don't relish them. I don't look forward to them. But it's like, hey, we want more of these.
Okay.
Well, I'm kind of indifferent. I'm kind of indifferent to them. They're fine. They come up. It's an opportunity to get Shanix outside of the weekly raid event, which is fine. But they're fine. I don't hate them, but I don't need them. They are what they are. If I never saw one again, I wouldn't be heartbroken. But if one does crop up, doesn't bother me.
All right. Well, I have a different take because I do not like the raid events at all. I dread the thought of them. And unlike you, I would be ecstatic if I never saw one again. And the only reason is because it feels like you are making no progress. Because you burn through your fuel cells to get the raid cells, but then you have to do the raid battles. So you have to wait till your top teams are able to go because you want to use your top teams because the raid will utterly destroy you.
Yeah.
I know from experience.
Yeah.
So you do all of that to do the raid, get a few battle points from, the raid where you're going to get owned pretty quickly usually. I mean, lower parts of the raid, maybe not, but eventually, at some point in the weekend, you're going to get to the part of the raid where you're just going to get owned. Unless you're, like, really far into the game and, like, you have everything.
Yeah.
Like, a team of 5-stars, you'll be fine. But where I'm at in the game, even though there hasn't been a raid event in a long time, I'm not convinced that if we did one, any of my teams would be that useful. Because raids, no. I don't like these. It just feels like you're beating your head against the wall all weekend. It's just slow progression. And to be fair, I was in a lower alliance last time I had them, but it feels like we didn't get like hardly any of the prizes. So it's just, I just look at raid events as like, oh great, this is gonna be a miserable weekend on the game. So,
well,
yeah,
maybe that's why they haven't done one in a while.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope like enough people were like not a fan of this. Raids in the middle of the week, they're fine. They're what they are. I always try, because I can't do much on raids, I always try to jump on like first thing Tuesday morning and get as many points as I can, because I know like once it gets to the higher bases, I ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
So.
And to your point, I have only recently started to do somewhat well on raids. Because I typically because my base is maxed out, but my bots are not as strong as a lot of the other bots that are the other players in my alliance have. So based on most of my bots, I really should be staying to like the lower tiers in raids. But because I'm level 88 with a max base, and I do have a fair amount of 5-stars at this point. I have like 10 5-stars now. So I feel like I have no business being like trying anything less than the top raid tier. So like I go to the toughest one, and that one, here's my dog's barking at something. And that's the one that typically will have either a Titan base or an actual Titan, right? Now, if you can get through all the defenses and to the Titan, and you can hang in there long enough, eventually he'll just stop attacking, and then he'll just stand there and just let you waylay on him. And if you've got a bot like Cheetor will mess a Titan up, and you'll walk away with all the points.
Nice.
So that's where I've learned I can score the most points is actually in the higher levels, whereas in like kind of in the middle, it's just slam packed full of defenses and stuff, and I tend to die pretty quickly.
Yeah. I know raids, like if I get on there early Tuesday morning and burn through the fuel cells, I'll hit like somewhere in the range of 30,000, some weeks a little more, some weeks a little less.
Right.
That'll be with all 7 fuel cells used up. And then other people in my alliance, I'm normally number 1 on the leaderboard events. On the raid, I'll burn all 7, be like 30,000, and then like several other people will come along and have 2 raids and already be above me. And I'm like,
yeah. And here's my question. I pose this question to the members of your alliance. You are typically at the top of the leaderboard in any given alliance event you're in. You're like top 5 every time. Like I've watched that. Watch your weekend updates, right?
Yeah.
But in raids, I mean, Nilsville for your points.
Yeah.
Now, raids are tough as nails.
Yes,
so that's not anybody's fault. I'm not. But here's my question.
I know where you're going, and I think they're busy with work. I think they have the ability to score higher, but I know they all work. So I think the reason they score what they can, but most of them work weekends, so they're still hitting double our minimum. But it's like, they don't have the time to put in that. I like I said, I set an alarm every 2 hours and hop on.
Yeah.
But I think they're just got a lot of things going on the weekends is what I think it is. But they still get double the minimum. So, I mean, they're doing a lot. So.
Yeah, I just be aware the value that Rodimus 86 brings to any alliance he's a member of.
Well, I tried like 23,000. I think that's pretty good considering no longer than I've been in the game. I think I want to hit 25K every weekend though. If I can consistently hit 25K, I will be super happy. So yeah. I'm almost there. Or
at least be on pace to do it. So if your alliance completes the event before you can get there, you know you would have got there.
Yeah.
So that sounds like we've only got one event left to talk about, and that's the weekend leaderboard event.
Yes, the big one.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let you go first and talk about that one, and then I'll put my thoughts to wrap up the show.
All right, leaderboard events in oh boy. In theory, he's eating a cookie. In theory, I love the idea behind leaderboard events because it's like let everybody battle it out for top dog. The thing is, leaderboard events, the only problem I have with them is that they leave lower tier players out in the cold terribly because everybody will bid to move up to a higher alliance, of course. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you? I've only bid once and the event got canceled. I usually stick with where I'm at just because I'm just like, I want to hang out with people. The one time I was like, you know what? I'm going to bid. I'm going to see if I can get, top tier bot. That event got canceled. So maybe this next one I'm going to try. But I just feel like it leaves the lower players hung out in the dry a little bit because all the people that normally help the alliance they're in score big, they move up. So if you're a lower tier player, you get less on an event that's loaded with a lot of prizes. That's the only thing. And I know it's just inherent because all the alliances want to score as much as they can and they want to climb up that leaderboard. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I just think the way leaderboard's designed, it ends up leaving lower players hung out in the dry in a sense. And from experience, it sucks to be the lower tier player. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
yeah. If I might play devil's advocate,
okay.
The benefit to doing it that way. Now I understand where you're coming from because I used to, when we were in Metal Gear Solid, we never, we were always like the top scorers. Like I was number one a lot.
Yeah.
There towards the end, and it's a lower tier alliance, and they were never going to get. I mean, they might get the 2-star bot in a leaderboard event when the 2-star bot was still being offered, but the 3-star bot, you had to be like top 100 to get to. That was always out of the question. There was no way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I get where you're coming from to be left out in the cold because what can you do? But
yes,
when you're in a family of alliances like Cybercore, where you've got Sigma, Omega, Alpha, Elite, the benefit to doing it the way we do it is you're generally going to get at least a couple of players from each alliance in the family in the Cybercore Titans when we go to the leaderboard event to go for that bot. And we're usually in the top 100 if not better. So we're always going to get a lot of those really good prizes. We're going to complete the event. We're going to get a lot of the nicer prizes that are up there, and we're going to get that 3-star bot at the very least.
Yes.
We're then going to bring that bot back to our home alliances, and as a result, our alliance has gotten stronger, and that allows that alliance to get just a little bit further in other alliance events that otherwise they might not have gotten as far in. Because now they've got a few more prizes, they were able to level up a little bit more, they got a new bot that they might not have had before that completely changed their game, and that's going to allow players who were for a minute left in the cold, their alliance is now going to do a little bit better. Just a smidgen. And it's going to keep happening that way. It's going to be like a domino effect. And eventually, in theory, all the alliances in the Cybercore thing, they're going to be knocking out of the ballpark. Where's that Louisville Slugger of yours? They're all going to be
That's a good question. Oh. Right here.
Yeah, see, so, in theory, doing it the way we do it, all of our alliances will be armed with Louisville Sluggers. Eventually. It's a long, long game that's being played, though, and it's going to take a while. So, that's where I get it.
I understand. Your side, you do make a good point. But all right, you get 1 or 2 players from each alliance gets stronger.
Right.
But if they're still there, every player in the alliance will get more rewards because they're moving up because they score the most. They carry, a lot of them score so much because they're usually commanders or officers. They usually score so much, they carry that alliance to several more prizes than they would get without said players. So when you leave them, everybody gets less for that leaderboard, which granted, most of the time the leaderboard, you're extremely lucky if you're not moving way up to get past the 2-star. And even with those players there, you're probably still not going to get to the 3-star, which is another issue I have with the leaderboard. The 4-star, if you're going to make it where you have to have a certain point total to get the bots, why make the 3-star so high up? Like the 4-star, yes, I get that. But the 3-star should be a little bit more in range because a lot of times it works out to where, like I said, you get the 2-star and that's about it.
Right.
I feel like the 3-star should be a little bit more in range because that would even it out a little bit more for the alliances that lose their heavy hitters for the weekend.
Well, that would be because like in leaderboard events, the 3 and the 4-star aren't based on how many points you scored. It's based on how many points you scored versus how many points other alliances scored.
Yeah,
so,
but sometimes I've seen the 3-stars there. It's just really high up. But I get what you're saying. But I mean, the top 100, they don't need a 3-star. If you're a top 100 alliance, what do you need with the 3-star bot? Like, what good is getting top 100 in the world and all you get's a 3-star?
Well, you gotta give us something for our trouble.
A 3-star?
I still use 3-stars. Half my grinding squads are made up of 3-star bots. I do not subscribe.
But the majority of those players look at a 3-star as absolutely worthless.
Yes, well, I do not subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to that at all. I
know you don't. I don't either. 3-stars can be useful, particular ones. But what I'm saying is the majority of the player base does not share that sentiment.
There are so many 4-star bots that I have almost every bot in the game, okay? Like, I have every 3-star, almost all the 4-stars. And the vast majority of the 4-star bots in the game, I do not use because they don't fit with my strategy, and I think they're useless. But I'll use a 3-star skydive, and I'll value him over a 4-star Jetfire Sky Striker. Because I'll use both of them, but I'll use the 3-star skydive first because his ability is more powerful and will do more damage. So I don't care that he's a 3-star. If I can make him work, by God, I'm going to make him work. So if I can get this new 3-star like Rotor Storm's awesome.
I know that's not my argument. Isn't that 3-stars are worthless? My argument is that almost all of them players, not all, but a vast majority of the players. I love how I'm emphatically using the Louisville Slugger to point out. The vast majority of those players feel like 3-stars are useless. And a lot of players, higher ups in alliances, will give you flack if you're at a certain point and they still see you using 3-stars. I know from experience, some people will be like, well, you're using 3-stars, that's your problem. And it's like, well, it fits the strategy and I score really good. But I'm just saying that when the players, a lot of them, feel like 3-stars are, once you're at that point in the game, are useless, what's the point in them even grinding out that much to get the 3-stars, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see, your goal would be the 4-star, and I get it. You want to make the 4-star really high up there, as you should.
It's only the top
I'm just saying
10 alliances, I think, that get that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, which is fine. But I'm saying, why's the 3-star got to be like so far up there when the people that are good enough to get it, I'd say 85% of them easy don't even care about it.
You know what? You do have a good point. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, I mean, we still see the value in 3-star bots.
Yeah,
even at the level that we're at,
majority of the player base.
But there are some, because even players on our level are like, no, 3-star bots are useless, and I'm like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see what it would hurt to make the 3-star a little more attainable, because the people that would actually see the value in that 3-star and use it to its most are all the way, they're further down.
So
and the ones that end up getting the 3-star could care less.
Right.
Other than, oh, cool, I have the 3-star. But I mean, they're not going to actively use it in the game. At least most of them.
So your belief is that instead of making the 3-star bot like a prize for the top 100 scores, it should just be somewhere in the base tier of prizes. Like the 2-star bot, like they don't offer the 2-star bot anymore. They used to, they don't now. Now it's just, if you get like the character shards, you can cash the character shards in on the 2-star bot if you want to.
Yeah.
You're thinking that the 3-star bot should be somewhere in the attainable points.
Yeah.
Like it should be like at the 500,000, 750,000 point mark, something like that.
Somewhere in there. Just a little bit more inside.
Yeah, so you don't have to compete with other alliances to get to that bot. It's there once you get to like this many points. Like the 2-star bot used to be.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying, because it's like when I look at it and it's like the only way to get a guaranteed 3-star is to be top 100. I'm like, well, those people don't care about a 3-star. The majority of them, anyway.
No, you're right. The majority.
They would want it to have every bot in the game, but as far as actually like a goal of I need this bot to put it on a team to make me stronger, they're not even. Most of them probably don't even level it. They just okay, cool. I got the 3-star.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'd rather
you're
be
right.
People...
Now that I think about it, because like people, like 2-star bots have become so far removed from people. I mean, the only people who use them are people who are just getting started in the game, new players. And then once they get to a certain point, they don't even use their 2-stars anymore. They just 3-star it all the way.
Yeah.
And then eventually they grow to the point where they're not using their 3-stars anymore. They're just 4-starring it all the way. Exactly. Now, I am not at that point, and I will never be at that point, because I will still use 3-star bots to grind events, and everybody should be using their 2-star bots to grind Z Energon. But so I get where at this point now, though, the 3-star bot has kind of become the new 2-star, and it needs to be attainable for everybody. And then the only thing that you need to compete for is that 4-star bot.
Yes, the imaginary tier of prizes. It should be somewhere in here, not off the screen. I'm just saying, because to me it just feels like pointless to have the 3-star that high, because the people that get it, they're just like, okay, well, I still got all the 3-stars, but they're not going to use it.
Yeah,
I'm saying if you put it in there, people could get it that would actually put that 3-star to use.
Yeah.
And it may motivate them to try harder in the leaderboards, because I'm sure a lot of people are like, well, we're not going to get nothing, so why put effort in? I'm sure there are people that feel that way.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. Now,
and then it would give them something to shoot for, theoretically.
Right. So, okay, so yeah, I get that. And that, to me, that's an easy fix. And I don't think it would break the game, because like you said, most people at that level consider the 3-star bot useless anyway. So why not just put it down where lower alliances can get it and up their game a little bit,
Yeah.
So I get that. Now, the problem that I have with leaderboard events, aside from that, is you don't win. You don't even get to the top, 50 unless you're paying for it. Now, Space Ape has to make money. The game has to be profitable in order for it to continue to exist. I get that. I'm not saying they're not allowed to make money. Bundles should be in the game if people want to like buy a bundle to try to grind for this bot or whatever the case might be. But it takes away from the competition of a leaderboard when you can just jump in the game, spend a bunch of money for like a few hours, and then score like up here.
Yeah.
That's not competition. That's who has the most money.
I feel like those people, too, they're probably not just buying the fuel cells, but the cyber coins to keep refreshing their troops.
Yeah, well, the bundles, usually the bundles come with both.
Yeah,
it'll be fuel cells and cyber coins in those bundles, so that way you can keep. And I've had to do it like a time or two just to get my bid. Like if it was leaderboard event and I bid like 30,000 and I had like a day where I couldn't grind for some reason, like work or something, and I'm like, I'm not going to make my bid. I'm not just going to say, oh, well, I couldn't make my bid. I'm going to make my bid. So I might do that. But I personally would love to see an event. I would love to see a leaderboard event where the use of cyber coins is deactivated and the purchase of and there are no cyber coin or fuel cell bundles to be purchased. They're just not in the game. There's absolutely no way to compete in this event without doing it via the old-fashioned grind. And then waiting for your bots to recharge and then getting back into it a few hours later. I want to see that
Yep.
because I want to know who the real top alliance is. I want to know if excuse me.
You could do that once a year, and whichever alliance gets it is champion for that year.
There you go. Yeah, there you
That
go.
would be
Yeah.
amazing.
So yeah, because you can do leaderboards like what they do, four or five a year, or something like that.
Yes.
And
You know
they're
the
fine.
perfect weekend to do that would be
The
Super
anniversary?
Bowl weekend.
Super Bowl weekend? No, it's
Super Bowl weekend have the Transform Air Force Championship. Best alliance is champion for a year.
I get that, but at the same time, I don't think it's the best time to do it because everybody's gonna be watching the Super Bowl. Won't nobody be grinding?
Yeah,
the
but
event.
that game's right at the tail end of the weekend.
Yeah, but
That
that's when
game's
everybody
on
grinds.
Sunday night.
Yeah, but that's Sunday nights when everybody's doing all their last minute grinding.
Yeah, but you can't, like you said, there's no fuel cells and cyber coins, that you can purchase. So burn all your fuel cells right before kickoff, and you'll be fine. The game's like 3 hours. Halftime, burn what little you've got, you're fine.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, that's how I'm going to do it Super Bowl Sunday. I like during the halftime, like during the commercials, I'll burn whatever fuel cells built up during the first half. After the game, it won't even be 2 hours because it's a 3 hour game, hour and a half. You wouldn't even have that many fuel cells to go through.
Yeah. Now the only thing to keep in mind though is that a lot of the players in the game are in the UK, in Europe, various parts of the world, and they might not watch American football, so
They would.
So it would be lost. So that, I mean, if they found out about it, they would get it, but to the average person, it would be lost on them, and there would be no, like, they wouldn't see the significance of it.
Still a decent weekend to do it.
Yeah.
We'll pick the World Cup weekend. Do it the World Cup weekend.
I would do it the 5-year anniversary weekend of the game. Like, I would have a leaderboard event.
Anniversary.
Yeah,
Five fast.
the anniversary event. Did I say 5-year?
Yeah, you said the 5th anniversary weekend.
Well, it was such a great event. I mean, it was guaranteed 5-star bot and everything. It's like I just want to keep going back to that.
You could do it then. It would be cool to see which alliance can get it. I mean, I know I wouldn't be on one that even had a shot at it, but
With the points that you score, if you bid, you might could get into Titans. But because then, this is my whole argument. Then we really see who the top alliance is. We see who can really score the most points through the old-fashioned grind.
Yeah.
Use up all your bots, use up all your squads, burn up all your fuel cells, wait for them to recharge over the course of 3 hours or 2 hours or however long you want to wait before you burn through the rest of them again. But you cannot just buy more battles, because that's what people are doing. Cyber cores and fuel cells allow you to just buy another battle to score more points. They're buying their points. I want to see who can win without buying their points.
That would be be awesome. I would be down for that.
Even if you do just do it once a year. Like I said, on the anniversary weekend, do it then. The annual leaderboard anniversary event.
Like I said, call it the Air Force Championship. Have a champion alliance.
Yeah, make a big freaking deal out of it. Then we'll see who the top alliances are, and then that's what I want to know. That's what I want to see, because it drives me nuts. Like when they put up in the game in the news, and they'll have the top alliances scored this many points, like 6 million points, 7 million points, whatever, and I'm sitting here going, they paid for every single one of those points. It's like I didn't spend a dime, and I grinded my butt. Now I'm not saying that they didn't grind. They grinded. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They probably grinded harder than everybody else did because they had to do it for longer periods of time at one time. It's like, I'm out of fuel cells. More bundles. Continue the grind. I get it. But we don't all have that luxury. I can do it a little bit here and there, but I don't want to have to. I want to see who the old school top alliance is. That's even if they just do it once a year. Because, again, Space Ape has to make money. The game has to be profitable to continue going. Otherwise, we got nothing to talk about.
Yep.
So, I get that.
We love to talk.
Right. So, if we do this once a year, that would satisfy me, That's what I'm calling for. That's what I'm asking for. On the 6-year anniversary event, we do this leaderboard event. No cyber coins, no fuel cells that are purchasable, no nothing. Good old-fashioned grindy event. Who's the real top alliance? And the prize is something.
Something. I don't care about the prize. The prize is being champion.
Yeah, but the champion has to get something.
They can think of something. It don't matter.
15,000 5-star shards.
There you go.
Yeah.
To me, being champion
5-star,
would be enough.
yeah, enough shards for either 3 5-star bots or 5-star Omega Supreme.
There you go.
Because that's one that nobody's willing to use up because they get their shards and they're like, oh, we got to get the bots. I don't want to save them. I got to have these bots. But if they had them all at one time, all of a sudden, maybe they'd use it on Omega.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just spitballing. But yeah, that's
I like your train of thought. I do. Hopefully they'll do it one day. It would be cool. It's just one event, so one weekend they wouldn't make money, but there's probably somebody they could. I mean, because that would be a big deal between Earth Force fans. I think they would love the idea of seeing who is truly number one. No strings attached. Just grind it out. Do it.
Right.
I like it. All right. Well, that is our opinion on events. We had some strong ones. We had some cool ideas. I love DJ's idea.
Well, thank you.
Yes. And I like my idea about the 3-star being more obtainable. Just saying.
Yeah, and because you're not wrong. Because the 3-star is essentially what the 2-star was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the leaderboard events are cool. I didn't want to sound like I hate leaderboards. I'm just saying I know the lower tier players probably groan when one comes up. I used to.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I'm just like, oh, well, it's going to be – because it was a lot of times – because this is what happened to me with Optimal Optimus. It was a bot. I could not wait to be in the game. And then when he did, it was a leaderboard, and I didn't even get the 3-star. I only got a 2-star.
Yeah.
I'm still mad about that. I'm just saying, I am still mad about that. The more I'm thinking about it, the madder I get. Because it's like, I scored enough points, I should have at least walked away with a 3-star.
I mean, if it helps, you're not really... I mean, I'm sure you've used a 2-star in, like, Z Energon grinding or something. You know the bot itself is not that great. He's
not. But at the time, I didn't know that. And I've been wanting him to be in the game for so long.
Yeah, because he's Optimal Optimus. He's like, he's a big deal.
Yeah, I know, and I always thought he would be a cool addition. I never thought they'd actually put him in the game, and then when they did, I was like, and then I didn't get a useful version of him, period.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm jaded at leaderboards. Maybe that's what it is. All right, well, that is it for this week. But next week, we got a pretty interesting topic. It was my turn to pick, and next week, we're going Jurassic. Because we're going to rank all the bots in Earth Wars that are dinosaur alt mode. We're going to rank them all, and it's going to be awesome.
All right, then.
So, so we will see y'all next week. Going to be pretty awesome. Don't forget to check out DJ's Crystal Cracking on Monday. I'll have my weekend events. The leaderboard's weekend after this one, correct?
Assuming it's a leaderboard. It's to be determined. If it's gonna,
okay.
Like they haven't said it yet.
Okay, all right. Because I know you do daily updates with a leaderboard, so I was making sure.
Typically, I try to.
Yeah, I will do my daily updates. May not have one Sunday. It's a big day for me personally, but we'll definitely do it at least Friday and Saturday. I may try to slide it in on Sunday if I can. My Crystal Cracking will be Monday. I usually do it early in the morning, between 8 or 10. And DJ does his usually later on at some point that day most of the time. Yeah, so make sure you check that out. Hopefully it's a good weekend for both of us. I'm hoping to get some cool bots. Hopefully not another dud. I'm sorry to everybody that had to watch through that one. That was terrible. But, we will see y'all next week. Same bot time, same bot channel. Frankster and DJ out.